Hey there, it's John Fleischman with SoDoesItMatter.com, all California politics all the time. And with tonight's high profile gubernatorial debate coming up, let's take a few minutes to ask a simple question. What does each of these candidates need to do to be successful tonight? But before we do that, we need to acknowledge the weirdness of this entire gubernatorial race. While incumbent Gavin Newsom is singularly focused on trying to occupy the Oval Office a year from 2 years from January, he is completely checked out of this race. Maybe the only engagement that he's had in the governor's race is obviously signing off on having his personal campaign team helping do IEs for Adam Swalwell until Adam Swalwell spectacularly imploded. Anyways, we've had both of the people that I consider to be the highest profile Democrats pass on the race altogether, former Vice President Kamala Harris and U.S. Senator Alex Padilla. Those, I think, were both people capable of either clearing the field or being front runner enough that we wouldn't be having these discussions about who might possibly emerge. Anyways, the race has largely been stuck in the doldrums. Nobody's paying attention to it because there's nothing exciting about the race. There's really not a lot exciting about these 6 Democrat frontrunners. Matter of fact, the most exciting thing that's happened in the race is the spectacular implosion of Swalwell. Anyways, I guess we're going to see what happens. Will tonight be a catalyst for engagement, or will it just keep going boring? Is this I guess, the firing gun for a sprint to the end? Or is tonight going to end with a whisper and everyone's still on a slow walk towards the finish line? Anyways, we will see what happens, but I do think we need to look at each of the candidates on the stage tonight and ask ourselves, what do they need to be doing if they're going to have a successful evening? I'm going to do this alphabetically. That's just easiest. Xavier Becerra. This is the former HHS secretary under President Obama, former member of Congress, former California Attorney General. He's had a bit of a surge in the polls in the last few days, unexplainably, by the way. Some people are trying. He needs to look like he's a serious, steady adult in this race. A successful night for him means that he's sounding competent, experienced, without coming off like a dry government bureaucrat. He just needs to have a solid performance and not screw up, I think, based on his trajectory. Chad Bianco. I think he's got the toughest assignment of the whole night. This is the current Riverside County Sheriff. And in a very limited time, because understand, when you've got 8 candidates vying for attention, all of these candidates have limited time. He has to introduce himself to undecided Republicans and fed up independent voters, and doing this while leaning into his law enforcement credentials. And then he's got to make a careful case against Steve Hilton without turning the whole night into a Republican food fight that I don't think benefits him. So that's his challenge. Steve Hilton, on the other hand, needs to look viable and electable to the Republican base that he is appealing to. Let's not make a mistake. This debate tonight is not about appealing to the voters that you need to win the election in November. It's about appealing to the voters that are going to propel you into the top 2. So he's going to mention his endorsement from President Trump because his number one tool and resource for coming in first as a Republican is for Republicans to be aware that the president is supporting him, even if that's going to provide some challenges to him consolidating after a win in June. Anyways, then he's got to pivot back to affordability, regulation, and the failures of one-party rule in California. He does all of that well. The challenge is, like with all of them, how do you do it in a very short window period? Matt Mahan, the mayor of San Jose, the self-identified more moderate candidate in the race, and he is more moderate. It's certainly he is more moderate than the other candidates in the race. His goal is that he needs to come across, as his practical, reform-minded Democrat self, but he needs to, and he explains that the system's not working. But his biggest challenge is how to differentiate himself in a way that allows him to be the fixer, that allows him to be the competent hand. But we are in the most partisan times that I have seen. I'll talk about that a little bit in the close. And so, he's going to have to figure out something to insert, whether it's Trump bashing or some other way to stand out in the field, because simply saying, I'm the mechanic, I can get things done, I've done it well in my city, I can do it well in the state, I'm not sure that's enough of a lane to catch fire and get into double digits. Katie Porter, the former congresswoman from Orange County, she needs a breakout event tonight. She has been capped in the low teens and has not moved anywhere. Look for her to be the person who's trying to have a sharp and forceful evening. She's got to make voters believe she can govern, but look for the full prosecutor to come out tonight. She's got to have a breakthrough or she's never going to go anywhere, especially since she doesn't appear to have massively benefited from the Adams to the Eric Swalwell implosion. Sorry. Tom Steyer. This guy is hitting a wall. He's got a lot of money. He's spending a lot of money, but he has to justify why he's in this race beyond spending a fortune. A good night for him means he needs to show a command of California's issues and he needs to tone down his rhetoric. He's the guy who fails if at the debate tonight he's red puffy and screaming and yelling. He needs to pivot into I can be a competent governor for California. I'm not sure he's capable of doing that because I never see his pulse go below 150 anytime he's on a stage. So I guess it's worth mentioning that current superintendent of public construction, Tony Thurmond, and former Assembly Speaker, former mayor of Los Angeles, Antonio Villaraigosa, are not on the stage tonight. So I don't really have any advice for them other than good luck trying to make an impossible victory out of something that's so bad that you can't even get on the stage. So in a visibility-driven race, missing a major debate is bad for them and makes their path more difficult. We will see how it goes and whether after Swalwell's implosion became the biggest storyline in this race, can the focus get back to the question who's actually going to govern the state? For my part, I'm a conservative, although as you all know, I call balls and strikes. I don't let my conservative bias keep me from seeing things the way that they are as a practical matter. I know what I'm watching for, though. On this stage, you have 2 Republicans trying to make the case for real change and 4 liberal Democrats trying to escape the stench of Gavin Newsom's record without breaking it with it or with him in any meaningful way. 5 of those Democrats are racing to the left as hard as they can, and then you got Matt Mahan, who's the only one trying to look like he's not, while still staying safely inside the failed political framework in one of the most partisan eras I have seen in more than 35 years in politics. We'll see how it goes. This debate is available like everywhere. You'll find it on streaming. If you go to YouTube and say gubernatorial debate, it's on One Nation. I think no matter where you are, you can find this debate. Let Google or AI chatbot be your friend and find out where to watch it. And I guess we'll be back tomorrow to talk about what happened. So that's what I got. See ya.